What's up, you fail the casuals? This is the Casual Shenanigans podcast. Jeremiah is not with us tonight. He is hanging out in, where's he at? Is he in Orlando?
Harry Potter world, I think.
I'm seeing all these pictures and it looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm
actually a little jealous.
He was drinking what is it? Butter beer earlier. Immersive.
So that's where he is. Joel's out tonight too. So we are joined with our special guest who is our historian and often pops in the podcast and makes a lot of cool Casual Shenanigans videos. UltraGrunt, Shane.
Hello.
Ooh.
And of course, the best beard for now in the business, Dave.
Oh. I gotta enjoy it while it lasts. There it is.
Could have a competitive beard off once James has grown up a bit more. And Jeremiah's too.
I feel like it's going so slow. Yeah, but Jeremiah can't grow it here at all.
Yeah, James, that's looking good.
I just shaved all mine off like the other day.
I know. Last time you were on, you had a nice little beard.
And now
I'm like, who's that guy in the beard? I was like, which one?
Shane, don't you let him condescend to you like that nice little beard. Papa James starts growing that beard out and gets all condescending.
It's okay, James, it's rougher than yours. Has my hands up doing that.
So we're going pretty casual tonight. We're going to talk about a couple things that we came up with 5 minutes before coming on the air.
No, well, not
just
true,
kidding.
James. We were already on the
air. We weren't supposed to be. So we're going to talk a little bit about VR, seeing that Fallout is coming out next week, and I'm ecstatic about it. It's probably one of the games I've looked forward to the most since it was announced. And Dave, you got to try Skyrim earlier this week. What'd you think?
I got to try Skyrim for about 45 minutes last night, actually, so the experience is very fresh. I had to visit my doctor today to take care of some after issues. It wasn't motion sickness, don't worry. It was other issues. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So you had to see a doctor after going to Joel's house. Cool.
Yeah. Very, very immersive. It was Giancarlo from work and a few of his roommates were over as well. I got to watch them try it for about a half an hour. And they were like stuck in like doorways, and one of the poor guys was getting like super dizzy really quick. So, for them it was mostly like a look around kind of thing. They were both very new to VR, so watching them play was like the true newbie experience. They were stumbling around a bit, and I laughed because at one point one of the guys that was trying it was at I believe it's Dragon Reach, which is one of the first towns you get to Whiterun. Man, Skyrim feels like a long time ago for me, because it was the first big town you get to that has the large castle and the king you talk to. He talks to the king like, too much dialogue. Like, I want to go explore some in VR. Goes outside, sees a whole bunch of rocks and stuff that go up the side of the castle, which is up on this big cliffside. It's the peak of the town.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna go check this out. Like, I want to get a good view. So he starts bunny hopping in true Bethesda game style, like glitching up all these rocks up the side of the castle, over the palisade wall that surrounds it. And all of a sudden he's on this tiny ledge, like doing these like Tomb Raider style stunt jumps. He's like, man, I'm getting really dizzy. And Joel's like, well, stop climbing up things on top of a cliff edge. And then I finally got to try it, and having played a whole bunch on the Oculus this fall before I got super busy. And also, I played a couple of Joel's PSVR games. That one shooter where you had like full movement. I can't remember the name of it. It has like the gun controller too. It's right there. I'm losing it.
It wasn't Robo Recall, was it?
No. Anyway, it was like a real shooter VR game. I played a whole bunch basically. So diving into Skyrim, I knew right what to expect as far as like movement and all goes. Joel put me into a tavern before I put the headset on, just so I could look around with like all the lighting. And it's really cool looking in first person. Although I laughed because Skyrim being an older game, that also they had to turn some things down to get VR to work well on. Even inside the tavern, you have things like the bearskin rug hanging on the wall, for example, which, again, being an older game and in VR, it's not like a 3D bearskin. It's just a flat plane with a bearskin texture applied to it. And in VR, if you get anywhere within like 15 feet of it, you can instantly tell how flat that bearskin hanging is. There's just a flat fake texture because everything else has so much depth to it.
Yeah.
There was like I don't know, plants and stuff hanging from the rafters, which again at distance, like you're moving your head around and there's all this cool firelight playing up in the rafters of the tavern. It looks really cool. When you get a little bit closer and you look at all those plants that are hanging, and again, to make a plant, it's a bunch of flat planes that have textures applied to them, and you're like, okay, that's a very flat like looking texture once you get close to it. But then I finally went outside, and fantastic. Just instantly pulling the bow out, where you have to notch the arrow, and you just move your arm around, and without even a cursor for the bow and arrow, it's just totally intuitive to aim. The only part that made me dizzy, having a little bit more experience in VR, was I play a lot of Skyrim crouched, sneak character, my favorite kind of play style.
Yeah,
well,
we were talking about that over text.
Yeah, I heard about it.
On the VR control sticks, what are they called? Like move controllers?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sure.
The button to crouch on those is you hold the jump button. And so for the first 10 minutes that I was playing, every time I tried to crouch, I would jump without expecting it, and that made me dizzy every single time because, again, Bethesda game, you got a nice big jump to your character. I'm in first person, obviously in VR. I would expect to go down. All of a sudden, my guy just goes boing, and it would actually give me a bit of vertigo all of a sudden. But yeah, the combat in Skyrim has always been pretty simple. But just having the full move controllers where Joel had me pull out like the shield and the sword, and I go in and there's a bandit like right up in my face slashing at me, and just intuitively I'm like blocking with my left arm, and then I'm awkwardly going like stab from the side with the sword.
Doing like a prison shank.
Yeah, I was like trying to get as much in as possible as far as stabbing goes, because I felt like, because I wasn't watching my health bar, you have to kind of look down to see it. I was like, I'm going to die if I don't kill this guy quick. But it was so cool and intuitive with the shield and sword, especially for the combat. And again, Skyrim's combat being pretty straightforward and simple adds so much more depth to it. Even beyond the immersion factor, the combat just felt deeper. I did a couple of moves where I would like smack somebody with my shield to make them stumble, which in a normal game, you just hit a button for that. But to do it in game and then you stab, it just feels awesome. And then there was like a rich guy I was like passing me on horseback on a road in his guard, and the rich guy said something like, "Oh, like stay away from me, like filthy peasant." And of course I immediately drew my sword. Like you actually reach down and you go like shing. The guard turns towards me. I stab him. It was so great because the rich guy on the horse just reins his horse in and goes like, "The gods, there's been a murder!" Like, I'm just standing right there, like, obviously there was a murder. And I just lean forward with my sword. He's, like, looking at me. I just stab him right in the face. And it's just totally intuitive. Just stab, and he falls off the horse. And then again, bow and arrow, completely intuitive. You do feel like Legolas, even if you're missing, where you're just going, thump, thump, thump. Lots and lots of fun. Again, having some VR experience, I picked it up so quickly. And, like, almost everything that I was doing in game felt like a story that I could share with you guys later, just because it was all so immersive. But it's one of those things you've really got to just try it for yourself.
Yeah.
Only negative that I saw was that there is some Bethesda wonk, because it is a Bethesda game, a little bit of glitchiness still. Their water plane, like when you get into the water, still has that awful like in between point where the game's trying to figure out if you're underwater, or like if your eyes are like right in the line of the water, or like if you're all of a sudden above the water. And in VR, there's different control sets based on where your character is in the water. So if you're above the water, like this, and you see like the flat plane of the water below your eyes, you just hold the move controller forward and you just scoot, like you're just swimming normally, just holding the button down. But if you're below the water, then you have to do this VR swimming thing, which is a really cool idea in theory, on paper. But having just got into the game, to me, it was really hard to figure out like how to stay on the surface where I just hold the button down, or if I was like below the water, how to swim without immediately popping to the surface. Now I have to do a different control to go forward.
You're like,
yeah, I got stuck in a river for probably about 5 minutes because I was starting to get to
That's Shane's job in Wildlands, to get in the river.
The river's where I belong.
Yeah, it's just one of those annoying things where it's a cool idea to like, oh, if you're underwater, you actually swim. But because I wasn't, if I was underwater, I wasn't swimming down enough to stay underwater. Or if I was on the surface, I wasn't aiming up enough to stay on the surface. I kept going back and forth between the two controls as I'm still trying to learn them, and it was just really confusing. And then, Bethesda wonk, I got stuck between two rocks. The camera started glitching like crazy. And Joel was like telling me, like, reload a save. And I'm like, I can't open my eyes. It's giving me a headache. Everything's flickering. And then I finally just like popped out of the river. Joel said that they're actually working on patching some of the water stuff to make it a little bit smoother just because of that awkward water plane issue. But that was my only downside. And I think I've spent too much time on it already because that was the only downside of my entire time playing. Overall, a fantastic experience. If you stand still and look around, you can tell the graphics have been toned down a bit for VR. Like there's no shadows in the grass and the draw distance is a little bit shorter. But I noticed that I literally never noticed pop-in because in VR, you're always looking at what's around you versus I feel like in 2D games like Skyrim, open world games, you're constantly looking to the horizon to like see where you're going and what's next. But in VR, everything feels so big and there's so much depth that I didn't notice any pop-in as I was moving around because I was like looking left and right and down and up and just looking around at what was right in front of me that the game world just felt massive. It was awesome in case you couldn't tell.
It's the observer effect.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist until you observe it. So with that, and Joel said he played like 30 hours of the game, and he said, the longest he played in Resident Evil was like an hour straight. He said he played like 3 hours straight the other night, which I think says a lot. I don't know if I could do, like, when you start going into like the underground caves and things like that, I think I would start getting a little motion sick. But walking outside, I don't think it'd be a problem. But with that in mind, with Fallout coming out next week, are you going to buy it again?
Well, now that I know that it's coming out,
okay, if you have to buy it versus someone's gonna give it to you, we'll just assume.
If I can verify it works with the Oculus, I'll probably buy it at some point next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because, again, the combat in Skyrim felt so much more fun than the combat in the 2D game. That looking at their Bethesda's demo video for Fallout. With VATS mode going into slow motion basically, and you're just still in first person, and it's like slow motion shotgun blast, and it looks really really fun. So I'm gonna look at some reviews next week, and I'm going to make sure that someone else that has an Oculus is gonna test it thoroughly for me. But I think after playing Skyrim last night and then seeing the Fallout demo today, yeah, I'm all in. I'm actually getting kind of pumped about it. Plus, I have a week of vacation coming up, so I'll have like a permanent VR headset mark when I go back to work.
Just to be like tan lines across your face. So, how does the VATS work in Fallout VR exactly? Does it work like Super Hot would? When you're playing Super Hot, everything moves and you move.
I don't think it's quite that exact system, but basically, yeah, time slows down. And it basically lets you pick your shots in first person with the move controllers.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, versus like taking you out of your body for like a targeting experience. Which Joel mentioned as we were all playing Skyrim VR at his house last night that Bethesda removed the third person kill animations because that would be super dizzying if all of a sudden you're watching yourself stab someone like ah. So what Joel's been doing is, of course, making up his own. When he was playing and showing us some stuff last night, he had this like evil looking dagger sword thing, was fighting some Dawn guard, of course, like a town guard that attacks him on sight. I'm sure he's done something there. He stuns the guy. He's like on the ground, like begging for mercy. And Joel takes the move controller and turns the sword upside down and like just stands over the guy and like does like the full animation himself, just the first person, just stab right into the guy, and he just sprawls out dead. And like the whole room of people watching is just like, oh, just because it was so awesome. Like you make your own kill animations if you want to.
That would be really cool to mess around with. Just record people doing that with camera and the game footage.
And that's the thing. I think if with enough practice with the Skyrim combat, you could pull off some ridiculous looking moves once you're able to instantly, intuitively know how an arm movement is going to look with your sword and shielding game. You can do things like, duck under something and then hit somebody and then get a stab under your shield and stuff like that, just with more practice.
I'd be afraid it would be like the Wii or the Kinect, especially Kinect. Like when you'd go to swing, you're swinging like this, but your guy's arm's like.
Oh, that was especially a problem in Kinect.
Yeah, like the legs would just be like going like this underneath you.
Animation would be straight like that, and then suddenly just go.
Quality.
Do you think you'll do any building, Dave? How long do you think it'll be before you do building?
I don't know. I think the lack of mods is going to be a huge limitation. Like I've been playing with mods in Fallout since 3 days after the game came out in 2015, so it'll be weird not to have them. But if they would
ability to actually hand play stuff, like not.
I'm
going to
do it just to experience what it's like. But I think what I might do is I really hope all the stuff's unlocked. Like the game's been out for a while. Like just don't collect the magazines. Just give me all the build stuff from the start. I think what I'll do is build like a survival shack or something in first person just to see what it's like. Something small. But it'll still have toilets because
man's got to do what a man's got to do in the apocalypse.
And a bathroom.
That's what horrifies Joel every time is he knows that if I'm building a realistic settlement, it's got to have a bathroom. But I make him tour them every time. So he has to think about the amount of time that I spent building just the bathroom. He's like, just build a building and call it the bathrooms. Just leave it empty. Like, I won't know the difference. And I'm like, but I will.
I'm actually surprised, speaking of just VR in general, I'm surprised we haven't had that many attempts to do survival VR games. Like, I think that would be, I know it would be logistically a lot harder to do in VR, but I feel like of any genre that would really benefit from using VR, it would be that one.
Oh, yeah.
I think something like Long Dark, maybe, if they had a VR version.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought of when James said survival. Long Dark VR.
Can you just imagine walking through that snow and you can't really see in front of you? You're just like trudging along. You're just like, oh, God, am I going to get somewhere in time? I'll have to make a little tent and climb in.
You get that hunting rifle with like 5 rounds, and you're walking through the snowstorm with the hunting rifle almost empty, like looking. And
they could make a really good VR port if they have the time to do it, because they're only a small studio. But that'd be one of the first games I'd buy for VR if I had one.
So Shane, you don't own VR,
That's
obviously,
right.
But you've also been very skeptical of it.
Yeah.
What do you think? What would it take? Would it just take new iterations, like new generations, for you to consider getting one, or what do you think your holdback is for thinking it's ready enough?
I think as soon as they can make it feel more immersive than it is already. I don't like the idea of, for example, having to use a controller alongside of the headset. Like just a regular Xbox controller, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of games seem to support that rather than like the controllers, because the Oculus didn't have it, for example, for ages.
Right.
And the Vive was more expensive. So stuff like that put me off at first, and plus it was first generation with all of the headsets. Right. I think I'd be curious to see what it's like in like 2 generations' time, the accuracy of it, how it runs on that hardware at the time, the games that are available for it. If anyone does any really cool VR experiences rather than just these demo sort of things. I know we've got like Skyrim and Superheart and Fallout and stuff like that coming, but there's not like massive games made for it yet. There seems to be a lot of like experimenting still.
Dave, how much would you pay for Stalker VR?
How much would I pay for it to not exist so that I wouldn't die of heart failure? I think is the other question.
You can buy a new heart. Just have one on standby.
VR fortified heart. It's like extra reinforced.
Just get your wife to have speed dial for the ambulance.
Defib on standby. Yeah, I think Shane's right with the controller thing too. Like, I'm really glad that Oculus now includes the touch controllers on like everything. Because I played Joel's, what was it, like the Dev Kit Gen 2 back in the day, with some modded games like Alien Isolation with the controller. That was cool to like look around at all.
Yeah, but you're sitting going like this and just looking around. You don't feel like you're actually in the environment.
Yeah.
You feel like you're on the rails almost.
It's like a third of the experience, easily.
That's what it felt like when I tried it. You know, even when we tried it recently. I played a few of the racing games and driving games, but it just felt weird using a controller doing that.
Yeah.
Rather than having a steering wheel or something.
And that, Shane, is why...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that's why when Shane, next time he's over, first game he's going to try is Super Hot, because like, you're not moving around a lot. It's a lot of slow motion. And with the Move controllers with the Oculus, as soon as you realize how much you can like move your body, watching the footage of myself play the game was hilarious. Because I was like running into stuff.
So
I was moving around the
spazzy.
room. As soon as I got to the point where I realized there's like a whole bunch of bad guys down a hallway I've got to kill, but there's a barrel in front of me, and I was like, wait, can I just duck like this in the room and just hold the two Uzis like this and just do this? And then it worked. I like fired two mags each from the Uzis and then leaned around and watched all the bullets hitting from where I had just actually shot over the barrel in my actual office. Like, that was such a cool feeling. And again, I keep using the word intuitive because that's what Move controllers allow, is your movement becomes how you control the game. And once it clicks, and it's just easy.
I absolutely love the Oculus controllers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Vive ones are nice, but just there's something about the balancing of it and the way the whole finger and thumb work. Just, yeah. I actually got to try, it's not ready yet, but I got to try the Windows augmented one.
Oh,
I mean, for right now, it's simply just a VR headset.
Yep.
They're coming out with their augmented features sometime next year. I'm really interested to see where that goes. I think that could be, and I've said this before, I think that'll be possibly the future of VR, doing augmented, not just pure escapism.
it'd be like a combination, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Because once you get that working, there's so many applications to get money behind it, in the business world, job-based skills that you can do with an augmented headset that could fund the research behind it. And hey, if gaming gets better, cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say about this topic?
Yes.
Okay.
We've got official minimum specs for Fallout 4
Lord,
VR.
here we go.
Oh my.
Buckle in, guys. This is why you're not going to see this on PSVR anytime soon. Again, it's coming out December 11th on Steam. Minimum system requirements. Processor, Intel Core i5 5590 or better. Memory, 8 gigs. This is all minimum requirements. Graphics card, GTX 1070.
What?
Minimum. Recommended is an i7 6700K, 16 gigs of RAM, and a GTX 1080 for recommended.
Oh my god. Maybe I won't be buying it.
You have to wait for the PS4 version, James, and play it at Joel's.
So yeah.
For the amount of money I'd have to do to upgrade to get to that, I could just buy the PS4 myself.
That was unexpected. Yeah, that's quite the system requirements. That, I think, is the hardest hitting VR requirements we've seen so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'll have that refund button ready.
What do you have right now, James, for your GPU?
2500K of GPU, 970.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody could sell me a Lenovo,
With a 1070 and a ability to stream and play games at the same time.
Nice carry handle.
actually got a wireless Xbox controller dongle built in.
But you don't need that because you've got your touch controllers.
Yeah, that's true. But knowing it's there,
That peace of mind.
man, those are hefty specs for minimum.
Very.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. What have you guys been playing this week?
Jane?
I have been playing... What have I been playing? We played Wildlands. Oh yeah, we played Armor, didn't we?
Yep.
As usual. Yeah, Armor was a new experience.
So we played a Shane mission.
Shane mission.
You want to tell us what it was all about? I thought it was a really cool premise.
So basically, I made a mission where there was a bunch of vehicles that our guys have to go and find that the AI were defending. And we had 2 teams of our guys competing for it in a PvP situation while fighting with AI.
And each other, of course.
And each other, yes. That happened quite
and there
a few
was
times.
PvP. Yeah.
And so it was done. And it turned out really surprisingly well. I thought there would be a few more issues with it, but there didn't seem to be any issues that popped up, really.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Super intense to fight all the people that you usually play a mission with. Like, all of a sudden they're all the enemies. That was intense.
Yeah.
And it was a really close game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It
How
turned out
many
real close.
missiles were there? There are 9?
There was 9, and one team got 5, the other got 4.
Yeah. Although the other team
Dave's
thought,
team.
hey, let's get him in launch ready status. So when Shane made the magical announcement at the end, I said, all right, fire the missiles at each other. We're like, what? And all of a sudden, Jeremiah and I were together, like, kill ourselves so we can respawn. And as soon as we respawned, which was like seconds later, everything was destroyed around us. You guys already had all your missiles off. So pissed.
Oh, I saw Chris and Dave inside of a tower, and they got hit with one of the missiles that his team fired. And they just got obliterated. It was great.
I was unconscious, but I could still hear my radio going off, so I heard it all happening, like, all right, launch the missiles. It's like, goodbye, sweet world. Helpless, trapped in the city. That was so much fun.
Besides that, played a little bit of Wildlands the other night with James, Joel, and Dan.
I'm so upset that we lost against that one team.
Yeah, we lost a couple of times that night. We played that horrible map that we suck at.
I wasn't there, that's why.
Well, we tried.
Yeah,
a lot.
We tried to get you in. We even tried to tempt you with Rocket League.
I saw that.
Yeah, we
we
didn't even play. We just launched it, just to send you a screenshot.
We sat in the menu for 5 minutes looking at all stuff on it. Besides that, I've played some Fallout and Stalker as well. I've almost finished Stalker. Finally.
Nice. Are you going to play
So where are you now
a
in
different
Stalker?
series?
I'm inside the power plant at the moment.
Are you going to play the
you are
next
very
one?
close.
Oh,
Yeah. And yeah, I plan on playing the next one pretty
Nice.
soon after. And I
I think
that's what I've played.
there's like 6 different endings to the original Stalker, so it'll be funny to see which one you end up with.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see.
The entire end part of that game, I won't spoil anything for you, but we need to talk about it after, Shane, because that whole part of the game has a very old school design that I loved their Eastern European trickery and their old school game design.
Yeah.
How the whole ending section is. Yeah, it's really cool. So tell me which ending you get once you get it, and we'll have to talk it over.
Yeah, we'll do. Dave, you next, I guess.
Yeah. What have I been playing this week? I mean, Arma, obviously, that mission was so much fun. I killed Jeremiah at least 3 times, so that felt good. We played some Squad Battlefield this week, getting ready for the DLC next week, the first half of Turning Tides, and that was a lot of fun. We actually won games this time.
Yeah.
Although that first Battlefield match, we were laughing. I don't think I've ever seen the team stack so badly, James.
Oh my
I'm
god!
like level-
Oh, was this? No, this is a different time than what I played.
Yeah, it's
Different time, yeah.
Oh
First
gosh,
round
because
was
the time I played with you, it was really bad.
it was worse, James.
Oh
I
my
spawned in.
gosh.
I'm like level 109 or so, right? I'm the highest level guy on our team. We're down a few players, and then if you look at their side, again, I'm 109. They have like maybe 13 or 14 level 120s. They're just the top 15 or so players in their team, all the way down. We've got like all these level 20s and stuff. They were in our spawn, killing us as we spawned in. When I joined the
gosh.
operations game, it was that bad. I just leaned back and laughed like this is the worst I've ever seen it. But once the team scrambler did its job, we had a really fun second round where we just barely won. Or second
Yeah,
match,
it was very
I guess. We lost that first match entirely. There was no chance.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah. Beyond that, I haven't been playing a whole lot this week. I've been taking it easy because that's been all
You've been
weekend.
going to bed at a reasonable time. How dare you?
Yeah. Dude, I got like almost 8 hours sleep last night, but I was sleeping so soundly that
It felt
I like
like
had
12.
yeah, I had to like snap awake, and I just, oh man, I was out of it. But it was good. It was good sleep. The end. That's what I've been playing this week. Sleep.
Sleep simulator.
There's a note for you at the bottom of our document, Dave.
There's a note. Ah.
So, what have I been playing? Of course, I played Arma. My second time back in a long time.
Isn't it so much smoother
still
to
getting
join?
used to it. I've got to get those settings correct because it goes from playable to like a nightmare, and so I'm turning everything down to like nothing. And I've got to figure out what hardware based settings I can turn on
When you
get the video card to kick in.
When you lower settings, it all puts it on the CPU for some reason.
Yeah.
So it's just really stupid like that.
Oh, Arma. I had fun. Of course, we played Wildlands.
Yep.
We did that. I bought a SNES Classic. I finally found one in a store using BrickSeek.
Nice.
I was like, one of the stores said they had six copies, and I was like, I wonder if that's for real or if I'm going to get there and they're not going to be able to find them because it was a Walmart. And no offense to any of you Walmart viewers, but usually Walmart doesn't give two craps about the customers. So I was pleasantly surprised that they were willing to go look in the back, and they had just gotten a brand new shipment in.
Nice.
And within minutes of me leaving the store, they're all gone, as expected. But yeah, I've been playing that. Plays really well. Playing some good old Mario. My daughter loves Kirby. Apparently.
I was gonna ask.
Oh, really?
What do the kids think of it? Is it like?
Oh, they think it's amazing.
Is it amazing, or are they not impressed?
No, they love it. My daughter's playing Super Mario World a lot.
James, I'm so proud.
I've got. I'll show you some videos. She's so funny playing because, like one of the first levels, you're running and that big bullet comes through.
Yeah.
She's like screaming. She's like,
It's so slow as well.
she finally ducks under it, and then she starts running again, but she waited too long, so another bullet came and she jumped into it. So it was fun. They have not learned, though. They have not learned that people don't want to sit this close to the TV. They want to be a little bit further back. I mean, that's why we buy bigger TVs, so we don't have to...
Are the cables like that big?
They're like a foot longer. I don't actually know, but they're still too short. We'll just say that.
I've got a Super Famicom controller, the Japanese one.
Yeah.
The cable on that is really small as well. I've got that for my Super Nintendo. It's just really small for some reason.
And I've got a Super Nintendo. I just feel like, maybe they're the same length. I just feel like in this day and age, people want to be able to sit a little further back. I mean, it wasn't like when I was growing up and like a 20-inch TV was a perfect size.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
So I went to Best Buy and they had a 2-pack of extensions for $10. So that works fine. It was added extra 6 feet.
Nice.
So I can sit on my couch. Not like this, like not trying to pull too far back without pulling the whole system out.
Pressing your eyes against the screen for free laser surgery.
Yeah. But yeah, the game selection's so good.
It looks very good.
My son was laughing at what I thought it was like amazing at the time. The beginning of Star Fox.
Oh yeah.
It has like the 3D like camera angle where it's like going down to the ship's going out of thing and it's talking.
So real.
I was like, oh my gosh, like, as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, there's talking in a game and there's, 3D graphics. It was amazing. He was laughing at it.
All the polygons on that.
Like, this is really cool at the time, okay? It's groundbreaking.
These are old people's games.
We had Mode 7 and special chips on our games.
Oh, man. Those memories, though. Ah, those games are classics, like in the true meaning of the word.
You'll have to play it sometime, Dave. Good stuff. All right, let's move on to the news.
News time.
Perfect. Shane, I want you to break out the guitar and play it.
News time.
That'd be kind of awesome.
So, Dave, you have like 90% of the news. Go for it.
Yeah, some of this we're gonna skip. So I will
Skip.
segregate some of this. This one's fun from PC Gamer. I heard about this on Twitter first because there was some uproar about some StarCraft competition where a sponsor was very angry with the competitors. But the article, excuse me, over on PC Gamer breaks it down nicely. This was a StarCraft 1 tournament, sponsored by Zotac, it looks like. And if I can figure out the nationalities correctly, we had a Chinese champion and a Korean champion. It was like the finals. And I cannot figure out where in the article. I believe the winner of the tournament was the Korean champion, and the runner-up in second was the Chinese champion. But the issue with this tournament, all the uproar from the sponsor, came from how the Korean champion won the tournament. Apparently, he got to a point in the game where he was so far ahead in this match of StarCraft that he played a few minutes of the final round with his feet. In StarCraft, a game where, it was actions per minute, like clicks per minute, it was like a huge deal. It's a great clip on the PC Gamer article of him like with his legs up on the desk, just playing with his feet. And then in the very final round, he pretended to like take a nap for a while during one of the games. He was like playing like this, and then for a while he just closed his eyes. And he won the tournament 3-0.
Wow.
So there was some accusations of like poor sportsmanship from the sponsor and such. And there was some accusations thrown back and forth that because Zotac is a Chinese sponsor and the Chinese champion was the one who lost the tournament, there might be some like hard feelings from nationalities going on there and some back and forth. But there was actually a lot of defense for the Korean champion who won the tournament. I really hope I got these nationalities right about who won, because this is dependent on the whole thing.
You're going to pull America into this, Dave. Thanks. Shane, stay quiet. Stay quiet, Shane.
I can't help it.
Don't let England get pulled into.
But apparently this guy who won the tournament he's known for like ridiculous showmanship. Like he goofs off a lot like that. And so he basically said, come on guys, like you know my style. You knew this when you invited me to the competition. This is how I was going to play. But anyway, I found it absolutely hilarious that it's like, StarCraft is already ridiculous enough. Like old original StarCraft tournaments are already so specialized, and like the competition is already so intense. And then you have this guy who's playing with his feet and taking fake naps. That is next level. That's impressive. What else we got here? You know what, guys? I'm making a rule for this week. We're going to not mention, after this moment, that feared device that has been the subject of so many podcasts this year, loot crates. That is now a forbidden word. We're going to skip all of that news this week. We're going to keep it pure. You guys okay with that?
Yeah. So we're going to talk about swag boxes, right?
Gambling boxes.
Pay to win with those rectangular things.
Skill boxes.
Skill boxes, that's it.
Pay to skill box. You guys hear about the cheating going on in Fortnite?
Yes.
And the lawsuits.
Yeah.
Epic Games has said that they have banned thousands of cheaters from their survival shooter Fortnite.
They got a long way to go to catch up for Battlegrounds.
What was that one weekend a month ago where Battlegrounds banned like 80,000 cheaters in 2 days over the weekend? Insane.
Yeah.
Well, Epic Games is taking a different track than PUBG to cut down on the cheating. They're not only going after shutting down the cheat makers' websites, like those private pay-to-win hacks and stuff like that. They're suing in caps lock, real court, real life. They're suing the people who are using the cheat codes and the hacks, which is, I think, it's a scare tactic. Obviously, they're trying to make an example of these people, but a letter was released by the mother of one of the accused cheaters, who's 14 years old, and she basically says that her son is being used as a scapegoat, that her son didn't modify the game because he used someone else's code for the hack, and that because Fortnite's terms and conditions require parental consent for minors, which she didn't give, that her son can't be sued.
Did she buy the game for him?
It's free to play.
Free game, yeah.
Oh.
For that side of the game.
Well,
it is,
yeah, if you just play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Right. So, unless you guys have some other news topics, let's sit on this for a few minutes. What do you guys think? Is Epic Games taking the right approach here? Are the parents taking the right approach? Like, should their son be immune to being sued because he is a minor? Or is there a middle ground somewhere? What do you guys think?
I think there's a middle ground somewhere.
Yeah. Definitely middle
you
ground.
know, the scenario, and we see that in a lot of games, is when you start seeing hackers a lot, people stop playing. Like, you start losing your player base because they're just full of hackers. I mean, look at Rust. Rust had that period where it was just so many freaking hackers that it became a reputation for the game. And once you get that reputation, it's hard to get people to get back into the game. Why I think, you know, Battlegrounds has been so like crazy about getting people banned quickly.
Yeah.
Is that they can't afford for it to become a hacker game. And so I think Fortnite's in the same position. Like, even though it's free to play, they still are losing. I mean, there's still money to be made in the game, regardless. And, you know, bad reputation will kill that game. So I do understand them suing people because those are the people that are ruining the experience.
Yeah, I think maybe for Epic Games, a good PR move might be like, do the name and shame, like call someone out, maybe file the lawsuit and say, hey, look guys, we understand that, you know, everyone makes mistakes. However, you're banned from the game permanently, and we'll settle for like something nominal, like, I don't know, $50. Like, we're trying to improve like online services for everybody. So there needs to be consequences, even if they're small. Like, first offense, make it a small settlement. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to see them going after the individual users as well, minors or not, just because, like you said, James, I mean, all it takes is this to become a big enough problem and the population of a game disappears, and there's no coming back usually.
Yeah.
I mean, Daisy Mod died in 5 months, 6 months, because of the hacking primarily.
Yeah.
It was so easy. I mean, I think we would have been playing until Standalone came out if it had been for the hacking. Like, we had a server that fall, we were having fun, but like I was spending an hour each day going through the server logs trying to figure out, all right, who's teleporting, who's hacking, you gotta update the ban list. It was work, and it was frustrating. So maybe it's time for some real consequences, minor or not.
It definitely discourages when you start running into hackers on games. Like, I mean, even when we ran into that hacker on Battlegrounds at one time, like our first hacker that one night, we didn't really play much for about a month, really, after that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
I don't know about suing minors, so I mean, I mean, I know that it sends a message, but what do you benefit from that as a company? Because it's the parents ultimately that you're suing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the minor has no source of income for the most part.
Save up your allowance and pay the fines.
And you know,
money.
I understand that you're making a game, but what you're doing is basically also taking away that kid's future. Because, you know, say his parents can't help pay for college or, you know, whatever, or he has to get a job after high school to help pay for settlement.
Settlement?
I don't know. You don't want to build that kind of settlement, Dave.
But I can't see in the article here, this one doesn't have the details of the lawsuit. Like, it could just be like small claims court, like $300 or something. Like, it could be a very small lawsuit that, you know, wouldn't ruin his life, but would be enough to send a message.
I don't know. Most copyright and most infringement lawsuits usually get up there, especially when you consider legal costs.
That's true.
I doubt they would take them to small claims court, and they've got their own lawyers and stuff. They put their parents in the position to have to pay for a lawyer, which could be tens of thousands of dollars easily.
That's a very good point. I found a second article here that says that there are no public figures in any of the lawsuits yet, so that's not a good sign, I guess. It could just be private, but it could be like they're asking for thousands of dollars of damages. Yeah, guys, sorry, I'm left channel only right now on the live stream, but I can't change it. Otherwise, we have to reset the recording. So make sure everyone leans to the left to get the full Dave experience.
Here, the real podcasters on the right side. If you want to create your own Dave channel, just take left off. What I see coming out of this is the more people get sued for cheating in games, the more likely it is to be something that Congress ends up looking at. I can see legislation coming out of being able to sue cheaters and stuff. I mean, kind of like, a lot of the copyright laws we have.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we could be in a new era that might do a better job of cutting on cheating by going after the end users, because like you look at the World of Warcraft private servers that Blizzard would go after, like people have always gone after the cheat makers or the custom server hackers and stuff like that. But maybe we need to do more to really make people think about what they're doing. But then the question is, like, you look back at the golden age of piracy, if you will, like when everybody was torrenting everything, and like you'd hear about people at school getting, $1,000 letter from Time Warner or something. It's like, did that really cut down on piracy? Like, were people really afraid, or did they just get smarter about pirating, and then eventually like Netflix and all and Amazon made it easier to get content legally? Like, did those individual letters and going after individual people, did that help with pirating? I don't know. Or Napster, yeah, as little lady says in chat.
I think for a small period of time. And then people just moved on to a new platform.
I think
so
definitely.
Yeah, a lot of people got sued with the Napster thing, but then they started doing other ways to share.
Yep.
And I think that's what's probably always going to happen, is the people are just going to keep moving on to something else that'll be safer for the time being.
There'll always be something else that people can use, whether that's software or another website or something. It's the same with all the cheats and stuff. As long as people can somehow gain access to the code, people are just going to be creating more cheats to easily distribute to other people.
And those people will find out how people are getting spotted.
Yeah.
And recode it to where, that's not visible. I mean, they can't watch footage of every game. They can't, like, Zeus around in every match and see, his movements aren't correct.
Yeah.
So they have to rely on either reporting or algorithms. And those will all eventually get outsmarted.
Yeah, they're good assists, but they're never a good primary method of detection.
Bob in the chat mentioned Napster. He also mentioned Kazaa. Forgot about Kazaa and LimeWire.
LimeWire, FrostWire, all those.
Oh man, wasn't like the later years of LimeWire? It was literally just all viruses. Like there was no content left. It was just all viruses.
Every time someone mentioned LimeWire in school, it was just like, oh yeah, I downloaded a song and I got like 20 viruses from it.
You know, it's
why
bad when
was
the
my
MP3
like 80 megs big? That's weird.
Or why is my MP3 200 kilobytes? That seems legit.
That's
Launch as administrator.
I can normally fit 20 songs on this.
MP3s end in EXE.
Legit. I've got one more news story, James, and then if you want to talk about...
I wanted to mention that Destiny thing.
Okay, I got one more for you guys. This one came out of nowhere. Over at PCGamesIn.com, you guys see this article on this guy who's creating these Fallout settlements? Fallout settlements.
What's his name?
Yeah,
Evil King?
The Evil Virgin 13, I think is what it was.
Isha Viking.
Yeah, there was actually an article about my settlements this week, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. What was that, James?
That's going to be my new nickname for you. E-Shield Viking.
Yeah. I got a comment on one of the Lenovo videos that might just be my favorite comment of the week, but I'll save it for later. Just remind me. I have a comment of the week. It's a good one. Okay. Anyway, from PCGamesIn.com, the headline was just too good not to click. Adult game distributors Nataku are investing $10 million into sexy versions of existing games. This made me laugh so hard. apparently what they're planning on doing is buying like old PS2 era games like, that have like no one's buying them anymore. They're gonna buy the license and make sexy versions of them.
Nice.
And this
Score.
I feel like we could have a whole podcast dedicated to coming up with titles.
Sexy versions of all like different games.
Well, here we go, guys. Let's hear a title for this as I explain what one of their first projects is going to be. In association with Pixel Dash Studios and EQ Games, they're working to produce an adult version of the motorcycle brawler Road Redemption. Shall we call it Road Rash?
Road Redemption.
Okay, so this is apparently a motorcycle fighting game where you race and shoot guns at each other on motorcycles. Their version, as the description says, their version will be generally less PG. The story mode will change too. Instead of killing an assassin, you'll be chasing down kidnappers to save their beautiful victims. There will also be animated motion comics playing out between each mission, which will share the game's adult themes. Oh boy.
Yeah, the game itself will be PG-13, and then the cutscenes will be R and X and
Yeah.
whatever.
What a crazy idea though! Like you take old like racing games and turn them into adult games. That is just.
I mean,
the
I
most
kind of
random
like
thing.
that. I kind of like that idea. Like, I would be so curious to play some of these old games.
Yeah, depending on what games they decide to do, it'll be very interesting. Especially from the PS2 era.
Yeah, it's random enough that like I think it's actually intriguing. I was like, I need to follow this project because it's going to be ridiculous.
For research purposes.
Now, would they be able to show the footage on YouTube or Twitch?
No, not at all.
Be banned straight away.
What you got for us, Papa James?
So, apparently so Destiny 2 has been out for a little while. It's actually not a bad game. I like it better than 1 so far. But they've had DLC coming out, and with the latest Curse of Osiris, it actually locks players out of some of the content that was originally in the base game, which I think is... they did something similar in Destiny 1, but to me this is even more shameful than the content that's already on a disc or in the code.
Oh yeah,
that they just open up later, like, oh hey, pay for this and it's here. But I think it was Risen 2 that had all the DLC in the code. You just had to pay to unlock it essentially.
Yeah.
But this is we don't see a lot of games locking content or basically making it so you can't play certain areas now unless you buy the DLC. I think that's a really crappy territory.
So, what do you guys think the reasoning was for this? Do you think that it was a mistake and that content was supposed to be locked from the beginning? Or is it an attempt to drive sales of the DLC that isn't selling well? Or they're just greedy?
I think it's to push the DLC so that you're forced to buy it so you can get those extra levels and end game content. And then they're just going to pass it off later and be like, oh, we coded that way, but we didn't. We messed up. Yeah, we didn't mean to. Like they did with the what was it, the XP thing or something the last time, a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to pass it off like, oh, we coded it that way, but it wasn't meant to work that way.
Oh, man.
I think that's what will happen.
I think that's a dangerous... That's as bad as pay to win to me. I mean, it's a completely different way of looking at it, but...
Yeah, as Running Wolf said in the chat, it happened in Destiny 1 as well.
Yeah, and
Like-
I'd mentioned that.
Yeah, just... I don't know really how people can still support the games. Like, at that point, when you start locking off content that was already in the game from the start when you started playing it.
Yeah. What a terrible, terrible precedent.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, if it makes it seem like if you don't buy it with the season pass when it comes out, you're literally not getting the full game.
And I think that's why more people should just wait for those Game of the Year editions already released like 3 of them, didn't they, for Destiny 1? Because they kept adding other DLC with like different season passes and stuff. They did that with Borderlands 2 as well.
It's the real Game of the Year edition, guys, this time, we promise.
My problem with the Game of the Year editions that come out, though, is, I mean, with something like Destiny, I don't care, because I don't... Personally, I do not like playing with other people. If, like, I could play offline, cool. But there's certain games that you can't wait too long to play if it has a multiplayer component.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be anybody there. I mean, heck, even Ghost Recon, they waited so long for the PvP that they didn't have the same player base that they would have if it had come out at launch, which is unfortunate because I really enjoy the PvP, but I actually can't really, I don't like the campaign that much. But
you guys up
anything
for
else?
some breaking news before we
Oh
end
boy.
the podcast?
Guys, this is breaking news. News that we learned about as we're on the podcast. Not that it just came out.
No, this just came out. This is breaking news. It's not even in the document. I completely forgot that the Game Awards were tonight.
Oh crap, are they?
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Just announced an open world zombie survival game, World War Z, which is the actual license
Based off the movie in the book?
based off the movie and the books, yeah. Looking at it, environments are fantastic. This appears to actually be in-engine footage of the environments. Zombies are interesting. A little bit rough around the edges here. Let me put this in the document so you guys can look too. Sorry. I was bragging about it not being in the document, and you guys are just listening to me describe it. The zombies are like the movie where they're almost an ocean wave of like super fast zombies, and the amount of zombies that the game is rendering is really impressive, with the downside being that, of course, you know, yet that many zombies at the same time, like, the animation is not amazing. But there's honestly so many. I mean, this is like thousands on screen at the same time. I wonder how on earth performance is going to work. Like, you set off a grenade, and how is a GPU going to handle that? That's nuts.
Unless they do it like Dead Rising did, Dead Rising 1 and 2, etc. Because they always had like masses of zombies on the consoles, and when they blew up things, like different parts would go around, but it'd like quickly fade out, like certain parts would just disappear entirely of the body parts.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with Left 4 Dead, actually.
And speaking of Left 4 Dead, this reminds me of like a Left 4 Dead paced style of DayZ, where DayZ's going full survival. This looks like more like Left 4 Dead co-op style survival, which is cool. Color me intrigued.
Interesting.
Now, as long as it's not developed by War Z people, you'll be fine.
Shane, it's 2017.
It's got a Warren Z in it. They've got to
Oh
be.
yeah, I forgot.
I don't even know what it's called anymore. I'm gonna search Steam for zombie survival.
I think it's under Infestation again.
Zombie.
No, I thought Infestation went away.
I don't know. There's been so many names for that project. That cash grab.
There's 2 now on Steam. These are literally coming out of like a mobile games name generator now. The old version, which is now outdated, which I think was the name that they changed to after the copyright issues because of World War Z. The old new name is Infestation Survivor Stories.
Right.
The new name is literally just Infestation, the New Z.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That's right. And didn't they charge for the new game?
No, it's still free to play, but I think it has the thing
Oh, is
where
it
you can
free
like
to play?
you can buy
Yeah.
like ammo and put it in your stash and then spawn in with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh man.
Man, we need to wrap
That's
this
it for
up so we
news.
can see if we catch any more stuff on there.
Yeah, go guys.
I really did not enjoy watching the Game Awards last year. Like,
No.
it was painful to watch. Anyway.
We just know Battlegrounds and Mario have won every single category this year, though, since that's all it was in all the categories just about.
Yep. Although I'm curious, they're supposed to be doing the PUBG desert map tonight.
Oh, you're supposed to be showing that off at some point, yeah.
I hope, Wildlands is going to have their update soon. I would hope they would try to get their game out there a little more, because I don't feel like that many people even know about it that own it. Like, you just don't launch it for so long.
I mean, it was kind of low key when Ghost War came out. I guess people just assume maybe it was just like some extra DLC for the campaign.
And they had 1 day of beta testing.
Something like that. Didn't have much time beta testing.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even have enough time to download it before. Because I started that night and it was like 50 gigs. I'm like, maybe we'll play tomorrow. And Dave's like, it's done. Like, what?
That's all my news. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
Do you have any comments this week? Anything?
Yes.
Why don't you tell what people did on Joel's video, which was pretty glorious.
Well,
on Joel's personal channel.
Our comments of the week are all of you heroes that are currently swarming over on Joel's personal YouTube channel, which is Boundless MP, by the way. That is Boundless MP, all one word. And posting nothing but hashtag old man Joel, hashtag dab on the haters, hashtag dabbing, and various other youth sayings that is driving Joel crazy. His comment section is just all hashtag spam for my subscribers, and it makes me happy.
If one of you could post a picture or send him a picture of a vape dab, that would be amazing. I think that would send Joel
just
overboard.
Like smoke cloud coming over the arm from the vape.
Just
hashtag vape on the haters. And that is our comments of the week. And Mr. Crutches Bob, you can tag Joel on Twitter, but I don't think he ever checks it.
No. It's just there.
He still has a Snapchat too.
I wonder if he uses that.
I think.
Ooh, it's been a long podcast, guys. I think it's time for a Verdun trenchment.
Ooh. You got enough for everyone? We're in there.
Shill Viking 13. Shilling again.
We're stuck in the trenches here, Dave. We need mints.
This had like the old style, like World War I, like the lid you had to pull, like the metal lid. And they're like stamped. Let's see if I can get the light to hit it right. Oh, it's all blown out. Can I shade it from the light? Yeah.
It looks like a big sweet tart. Cool.
It's like one of those homemade mints. They're really good. My throat's all dry from all this podcasting. Oh.
Shane, did you have a 90 seconds for us tonight?
90 seconds. No, I didn't.
Okay, good. Just wanted to ask.
Fastest 90 seconds ever. I love it.
It was on time this time.
So that is the show. If you want to write into us, you can write in at casualshenanigans@gmail.com. And you can tweet us at casualshenaniga. Dave's got a channel, Evil Viking 13, on YouTube. And do people tweet you?
Oh, yeah.
Not really.
At
Is Evil Viking 13 there? Evil Viking?
At Evil Viking. I have both of them, but the at Evil Viking is the correct one.
And Shane also has a YouTube channel. Is it just straight UltraGrunt?
You can find it with just UltraGrunt now.
Okay.
Nice.
What was the one with the X in the middle or something?
You can still find it with that. That's the original username for it. I could not get because my old account, I deleted it. Because it had tons of copyright claims on it from doing covers. And so Warner Bros. Music covers I was doing back then.
All that LimeWire downloading.
And there was just so much copyrighted stuff on there. And I had like 2 strikes, so I just deleted the channel after a while.
Yeah, well, one day you'll get it back, right? You can also find us on Facebook. Just search for Casual Shenanigans. And yeah, that's the show. Anything they should be doing in the meantime? Till they see us next time?
Let me think. Until next time, no Star Wars spoilers.